what pace our Heat 2 athletes will go out in. Here's the start list then. A reminder, the first 5 will be guaranteed a place in the final. And 8 athletes due to contest those 5 automatic spots. The wave going around Alexander Stadium, you can see it behind Lucia Stafford there of Canada. Thumbs up from her. She'll start on the outside line, the 23-year-old, 4:05 this year. Winnie Nanyondo of Uganda, 8th at the World Championships recently, just missed a medal in this event 4 years ago on the Gold Coast. Winnie Chebet of Kenya, the fastest in the field on personal best, but 5 seconds off that in this 2022 season. Experience, though, of course, in her 3rd Commonwealth Games. Artigala, 4:09.12 at her best. The Sri Lankan, the national champion, and their national record holder. Owitsonde from Rwanda, 16 years old, lining up here in position number 4. Gemma Reekie of Scotland, well, she'll get a huge reception. Raced already over the 800 metres, 4th at the Tokyo Olympics. The 800-metre distance, the Scot is back for more. Jessica Hull, 7th at the World Championships in Oregon, under 4 minutes this year. The fastest in this heat on season's best performances. And Katie Snowden of England. And the semi-finals of the World Championships, the semi-finals of the Olympics last year. The English athlete lines up on the inside line for heat number 2. They're the current qualifiers by time. And that slow heat, 72-second first lap, 2:23 at 800 metres. These athletes, with any racing sense, will know exactly what they have to do to get into this women's 1500-metre final. And Gemma Reekie of Scotland, Rob Walker, will be one of the athletes in this heat, looking to do something after her 800-metre exploits.
Yes, she was so disappointed to not make the final. I think that bout of glandular fever has set her back perhaps even more than she and her coach had anticipated. And Laura Muir came through really well in the heat, so she will be in the 800 final as well as the 1500 final. So it would be great for Gemma if she is able to get through to the 1500 final. And look, there are 8 in this, Catherine. 7 could go through, and the only one of these athletes who can't run a 4:14, which is Melissa Courtney-Bryant's time for the first of the semi-finals, is the 16-year-old from Rwanda. So if she ends up finishing last, as long as they keep this pace quicker than 4:14, then 7 of the 8 will make it through to the final.
Well, very shortly they're going to go through the first lap time. Remember, the first lap of the first heat was 72.82 seconds. And Yondo happy to hold the inside line, 69 seconds, so we're already 3 seconds quicker. And the Ugandan, who I mentioned, missed a medal in this event in 2018. She finished 10th in this 1500 metres after missing a medal in the 800 metres. And Yondo on the inside, Hull on her shoulder. Snowden now of England in a very good position. 11th in this event in 2018 in the familiar England colours. So all nicely bunched as they go round the top bend here in the sunshine. The crowds applauding every single step, Rob, of the athletes in this women's second heat of the 1500 metres.
Well, yet again, we've got beautiful sunshine, and yet again, we've got almost a packed house. I mean, yeah, OK, you can see a few little pockets of empty seats, but it's a brilliant 30,000 plus attendance for a morning session. Remember, if you're familiar with athletics, you'll be well aware you don't, even when a world champs goes somewhere like Germany, you know, where they absolutely love their athletics, you very rarely get a full crowd for a morning session. The attendance has been absolutely superb. So, the Ugandan leading, better known as an 800-metre runner. She was only just off the podium in the 8. I know she was a little way off the shake-up come the 1500 metres. So, they've still got a little bit of time to play with, because the first semi, 72 on the first lap, 71 on the second. So they're still at the moment about 3 seconds up. So if they just keep this pace honest, then everybody, other than the 16-year-old from Rwanda, can make it through to the final. They've surely got to be aware of that.
Yeah, they were 3 seconds up on the first heat time at 800. 2 seconds up at the 800-metre point, going through in 2 minutes 21. And still that tight pack. You can throw a sporting blanket over the athletes in this second heat. A reminder, just the 5 to automatically go through. But as Rob said, We know that they're on pace. This is good. All of them looking up at the big screen. Snowden in the mix. Hull there, the Australian, in good form. You see Chebet making a move as the bell goes for the final lap.
Gemma Reekie just finding herself towards the back of that big group of 8. Remember, they could get 7 through, but in the second of the semi-finals, they really did pour it on the last lap because they've gone so slowly on the first 2. So they can't afford to dawdle here. 68.3 on that lap. Snowden holding the inside line. Jess Hull looks really, really comfortable there. Nanyondo's got herself boxed, and Chebet coming up on the outside, which is the sensible thing to do. Reekie's got problems here. She's boxed on the inside.
200 metres to go. Snowden, Hull, Chebet, the blue vest of Scotland's Gemma Reekie. She's going to have to negotiate traffic here. She's going to have to look for a gap. Just the top 5 guaranteed a place in the final. Down the home straight, Artigala, the Sri Lankan on the outside, having a little bit of argy-bargy with the Canadian. Just the first 5. The time looks pretty good, though. Gemma Reekie battling back. And a little stretch out from Nanyonda, the Ugandan. We're at 4:16.05. We'll await for the confirmation of the automatic 5 that have gone through.
Well, there were 6 who crossed the line in a big blanket there, and they will all be okay because there are 2 non-automatic spots. It was outside the time that Courtney Bryant posted in the first of the semi-finals. So all 6 who came across the line together will make it, and so will Melissa Courtney Bryant, despite running 4:14 in the first of the semi-finals. We will see the Welshwoman in the final.
Yep, exactly went to plan in terms of that. 4:16.04 for Nanyondo. Snowden just 5/100ths of a second behind. And there's lots of big cues coming up on our system. It's a nice smile there. Very impressive that from Jessica Hull, the Australian. Studied at the University of Oregon, lives and trains in Portland, Oregon. So you can imagine she had a wonderful reception when she ran to that 7th place at the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. This is where they're all bunched though, Rob, wasn't it? With 200 metres to go, battling for one of the automatic positions that turned out nice for them in this second heat.
It did, and you know, I was waiting for the official confirmation. It's Reekie who has taken the non-automatic spot here. I don't know, it was so tightly bunched. I wonder whether she specifically knew that she wasn't in 5th. Watch the Scot just behind Katie Snowden there, who ran a really sensible race. Chebet was up on the outside, she was okay. Nanyondo was having a little look round, possibly unaware that Gemma Reekie was on her inside. The Canadian Lucy Stafford coming through. Really good to see her in the final because she just missed out on a place in the final last year in Tokyo. Reekie here, just a fraction of a second outside the top 5, but with her 4:16.23, she takes the second of the non-automatic spots behind Melissa Courtney Bryant.
And there's a small cue for Reekie with her 4:16.23. 4:14.46 of Courtney Bryant of Wales will get her into the final. So 2 heats done, and all those athletes that are going to be listed shortly are going to come through to that final. You can see Gemma Reekie, Rob, her eyes were darting around everywhere. She was looking at the screens, trying to get herself into the position. There's a little knock there that I mentioned for Artigala with the Canadian as well, Stafford. That put her off her stride as the Canadian then was powering through, wasn't she, trying to get into one of those positions out in lane number 3.
I'll tell you what, Nanyondo cracks me up. She's such a... Look how she finds a gap here. Snowden's checking. I don't know how Nanyondo... I mean, it's okay. She hasn't completely nudged Snowden out the way, but Nanyondo is so adept at finding a way through crowded traffic in a pack. The Ugandan did it to great effect there. Reekie was having a little anxious look there, perhaps, at the clock, but she is into the final. But there's no doubt she's world-class. She was only just off the podium in Tokyo in the 800 metres, and her season has been heavily disrupted by that glandular fever, but she's in the final. So, McGeehan, Caldwell, Chebitok, Laura Muir arguably looking like she's the favourite because she, remember, is through to the 800 final as well, so her speed is looking as good as her endurance. Gemma Reekie makes it through as a non-automatic qualifier. And so too does Melissa Courtney-Bryant of Wales. Great final to come. Beautiful sunshine as we turn our attention for the first time